What's going on, guys? In today's tutorial, we are inside of Affinity Publisher, and I want to show you what I found to be the easiest way of creating a monthly calendar, such as the one that we have here on our January page. So in total, we would need 12 of these, as well as 12 different pages, which will make up the entire year's calendar. So if that's something you guys would like to learn how to do, let's go ahead and get started. So what I do want to mention is currently inside of Affinity Publisher, there is no way to pre-populate these dates. So we have to go ahead and make these manually, which we can do using the table tool. So before we get started, I just want to delete this calendar that we have right here so we can start from the beginning. So we're going to make our way over to the left-hand side toolbar menu, and we're going to select our table tool. Then what we're going to do from there is we're going to start dragging out our table tool to create ourselves 7 cells across, and we need to go 8 rows down. So if you pay attention to the box on the right hand side, you can see that says C7, which means we have 7 cells across, and it says R8, which means we have 8 rows. However, I only need 7 rows, so I'll slightly move that up a little bit. Go ahead and let that go when you've got what you need. Then I'm just going to go ahead and drag this out a little bit just to make these a bit bigger. And what we're going to do is we're going to leave row number 1 up here a little bit smaller, as this is going to house our days of the week. And then the rest of it is going to be our calendar dates. So we'll go ahead and we'll select the rest of those by selecting all of those other cells. So from here, if you make your way up to the top toolbar context menu over towards the right hand side, you can see that we have this option right here that says table. If you go ahead and select that, that is going to open up our table menu where we can change all the things that we need to. So all we're going to change at the moment is going to be the cell width and the cell height. So I'm just going to come in here and put around 25mm in each one of those. So I'll type in 25 on the width and I'll put in 25 on the height. Then what I'm going to do next is I'm going to give this a fill so we can see this a little bit better. So on the fill option right here, I'll go ahead and just make that white. And with the top row, I don't necessarily want a background color on that, so I'm going to leave that the way it is. But what else I may want to do is select all of these cells, and I just want to turn off the outside border. So I'll go ahead and select the border option right here and choose outside. Go ahead and select this option right there where we have the cell stroke, and just go and turn it off using the X. Then we'll just go and grab our move tool so we can see what we've got. And I'm just going to move that around a little bit. So one thing I do want to mention is that not every month is going to need these 6 cells. There's going to be a couple of months a year that are going to use 6 of these. However, the rest of them are going to use 5. But it's easier just to create the 6 and then remove the rows that you don't need after you've done that. So what I want to do before I move on is I'm just going to select all these cells here, and I want to get rid of these lines that are in between each one of these cells. So going back over to our table menu, we're going to select the line option right here, which is the inside vertical, and once again we'll turn that off. So if we deselect that, we can now see that we don't have any lines visible on the top cells. Okay, so before we go ahead and put all the numbers inside of these boxes, what we're going to do first of all is just put in our days of the week. So we'll go ahead and select our first cell on row 1, and we'll just type in Monday, and we'll fill this out from Monday to Sunday. So I'll quickly pause the video so you guys don't have to sit here and watch me do that. Okay, so I filled out all of my days of the week, but what I want to do before I move on is just center this text because it's going to look a little bit better. So I'll go ahead and select all of these cells in column 1. And we're going to make our way up to the top context menu bar, and I'm going to change that to center vertically as well as center align, and then we'll just deselect that and just see how it looks. So that doesn't look too bad. I may go in here and just make that text bold so it stands out a little bit better. Alternatively, you can also change the color if you like. That's entirely up to you. So now we've got that out of the way, what we're going to do is start putting in all of the numbers that we need for our monthly calendar. And in order to do that, I want you to go to a website which is called Time and Date. As you can see up here is timeanddate.com, and this is going to give you all of the calendars that you need for either this year, next year, or the coming years after that. And all we got to simply do in here is we're going to copy all of these and just paste them into our table. So what's going to be really important to remember is that you need to also copy the blank cells. If you don't copy the blank cells, it's going to put all your numbers in random days of the week, and that's not what you want to do. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to select from Monday all the way down to that last Sunday. You don't need to worry too much about that row underneath because there's no numbers in there at all. So we'll go ahead and just make sure that we do select 31 as well as the 2 boxes next to that. Then just simply copy that. Then we'll make our way back over to Affinity Publisher. We're going to highlight all of these cells. ignoring the ones that we have on the top with our days of the week, then all we're going to do is simply paste this in with Command or Control V. And as you can see, all of our dates are on the correct days of the week. However, just to quickly demonstrate, I'm going to go ahead and delete that, go back to the time and date website, and we'll ignore these blank spaces, and we'll just copy all the way from number 1 to 31. Go ahead and copy that once again, go back, and I just want to show you that if you don't copy the blank spaces, then of course it will move the days over to the different day of the week. So I'll go ahead and just paste that in. And now you can see that number 1 has started on Monday, whereas it should be on Wednesday. And this is why it's important to make sure that you do copy those blank spaces as well. So with that said, I'll go ahead and just delete that one. We'll go back to the time and date. And like I said, make sure you copy your blank spaces before and after your numbers. You can ignore the bottom row like I said. So go ahead and copy that once again, go back to Affinity Publisher and just paste that in, and then we are back to where we should be. So what we need to do from here is we're just going to select all these boxes and format that just a little bit, just to make it look a little bit better. So we'll go up first of all, and I'm going to change the sizing to something a little bit smaller, maybe around 10 points. And I'm going to give that a different color as well, make all of that black so we don't have those random red colors. And you can also come up here and change your font as well if there's something else that you would prefer to use. I'll just keep this really simple and just maybe go for Arial. And you can choose whether you want that bold, etc. So what else I want to do with these numbers is I want to align them a little bit better. So we'll go to our alignment options over here, and I'm going to choose to justify that to the right hand side. Then we're going to go back to our table menu over here on the left, and what we want to do inside of here is we're going to change the insets. So we're just going to move that a little bit just to position that just a little bit away from the corners. As you can see, whatever number you choose is completely up to you. However, I think 1mm looks okay. Then we'll just go ahead and simply deselect it so we can see what we've got. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to go back to my pages, and I'm just going to look at February that I got underneath. I've got that blank at the moment. So what we're going to do from here is we're going to make a copy of this table. So we'll go ahead and hit Command or Control C to copy. We'll come down, we'll click on the February page and Command or Control V to paste. Then that should paste in the exact same position that we have it on the page before. So everything should always line up equally across all of your pages. So what we're going to do is we'll go back to January, and we know we don't need this bottom row. So we'll just simply double tap and we're just going to drag it up. Then that's going to remove the additional row that we no longer need. Then once again, we'll deselect it just to see what it looks like. So this is going to be your personal preference, whether you guys want these boxes visible before your day starts. So if you may want to get rid of this blank one here and the one next to it and the two on the end. If you do want to do that, you just simply got to select both of those cells. Come back to your table menu by selecting it over here on the top right hand side. Then inside of here, first of all, we're going to turn off the fill using this circle with the cross, and then that'll go ahead and turn it off. Then we just need to turn off the center line in between both of those. So that will be that line right there inside vertical. Go ahead and just hit that X once again to turn that off. Then when we deselect, you can now see they've disappeared. We still have this line up here at the top, as that's going to be the bottom of the cell on the top of that. If you want to get rid of that as well, you're going to have to simply just select these two top ones. Then just target that bottom line that you can see right there, and just go ahead and turn that one off as well. And then you can see that's now removed both of those boxes. And you can do the same thing down here at the bottom. Simply turn off your fill and do the same thing with the line. So we'll go ahead and turn off that center one, and we can deselect that, and then that'll get rid of the bottom too. So some people like to have their calendars like this. For me personally, I don't like it that way. I'd rather just have the blank boxes. So I'll go ahead and just undo that and put that back to how it was. But of course, that's entirely up to you guys how you would like to do that. So moving on, because we made a copy of this in February, what I want to do is I just want to look for a month that's going to have more days than the 5 rows. So we'll go back to the time and date website, and we'll go for March just here. So as you can see, the 31 goes into the 6th row. So just like before, we're going to copy all the blank boxes all the way from the top to the bottom, and we'll go ahead and we'll copy that once again. Then we're going to go back to Affinity Publisher. Then what we're going to do is we're going to highlight all of these cells once again, and we just got to paste these in, and it will replace the ones that are already in there. However, the way I want you guys to paste this in is going to be slightly different. Usually you would hit Command or Control V to paste, but when you do that, you can see we've got all the same formatting that we had on the website we just got it from. However, because we've already formatted our table to how we like it, what we need to do is we need to go up to Edit on the top menu bar, and you're going to use this option that says paste without format. Once you go ahead and you select that, that's going to paste in that March date in the same format that we've already created. And even though this currently says February, I just want you to ignore that because this is March's calendar. I just wanted to use one that has the additional row because I did want to demonstrate that some months are going to have 6 rows and some will have 5. So just like before, we now have an additional row down here that we don't need. So we'll just simply drag that up to delete it, and we'll just deselect that. And now you can see we have all of the dates that we need for March. However, the one thing you will notice between both of these pages is one of our tables only has 5 rows and one has 6. So I would always start with creating the 6 row one, so you know you can always make that a little bit smaller and move that around. However, your design is going to change throughout the pages depending on how long the month is. So you may want to go in there and just drag that down and maybe reposition it a little bit just to fit your design. That's up to you guys what you would like to do with that. So now it's really just a case of creating brand new pages and just following the same process that we've already learned. However, I do know that this can be really time consuming and it may not be something that you guys want to sit there and do. So because of that, what I have done is I've created a list of calendars all the way from 2025, as you can see right here, through to 2026, 27, 28, 29, and 30. And I've got all of those inside of this file right here. So you can see I've got all these Affinity V2 Publisher files, and you've got 2025 all the way through to 2030. And when you open these up, they're just going to display as 12 pages over here, as you can see, all dated from December all the way back to January across each one of the years. So you can see it says 2025 on this one. However, if we open up 2028, so you can see this is now opened up January 2028. So we have both of these original files. We've got the 2025 and the 2028. So I've made these available on my Etsy store, and I'll put the link in the description where you guys can download it. This has taken me around a couple of hours to put all this together, so I do charge a small price. It's really inexpensive, and having all of these files is going to make it so much quicker for you guys to put together quick projects when you're creating calendars. So what we'll do, we'll just delete these ones because we don't need them. It's really just a case of going to your 2025, go ahead and just copy January. So we'll Command or Control C to copy. Go back into your file you are working on, then we'll just go and paste that in using Command or Control V. Then all we've got to do from here is we just need to resize it. So we'll put that into our rough position. We're going to grab this handle right here, and we'll just start to drag that out to the rough size that you guys are happy with. So that was how quick it was just to put January in here, and we have all of the same options that we had when we created it from scratch. We can come in, we can edit every single element of our table. So for instance, we'll turn that to be white rather than black. And what I'll also do is I'm going to grab all of these cells. I'm going to go into my table menu, and I'm going to change the fill just to be a little bit transparent so I can see the image in the background just a little bit. So I'm just going to drag that down just slightly so that looks a little bit better. And what I'm also going to do is select Saturday and Sunday's rows, and I'm going to give that a different color, maybe a blue, just to separate the weekend so we can just make it look that little bit better. So there is January done. And then we can just move on to February. So we'll go back to 2025's calendar, just make our way down. Then we'll just simply copy February, go back to our file. Once again, we're just going to paste that in. Then it's a case of just resizing that, grabbing that box down there, and just make that as big as you like. And of course, you can style this table any way that you would like. And of course, you can do so much more. Say, for instance, you guys don't want these black lines in between all of this. We can go into our lines, and you can either go ahead and just turn them off altogether. So we just have a transparent box all the way around it, or we'll just undo that. Another thing you can also do is you can give that a different color if you like. So we'll maybe make that thicker as well. We'll go to around 1 point, and instead of black, we can just make that maybe red, and then we'll see how that looks. Or in this specific page right here, that might look a lot better with white. So we'll go ahead and we'll select that one again. I'm going to change that white. And I'm going to make that a little bit thicker as well. May look good with this is if we have a drop shadow on this table. So if we select that, we come over to our layers on the right hand side, go down to effects, and we'll choose the outer shadow, and we'll put maybe 10 pixels on each one of those. And then as you can see, that looks pretty good. So you can see really how quick it was just having the option to come into these and grabbing any dates that you want. Like I said, they go all the way through from January to December, from 2025 all the way to 2030. So if you guys do want to get these files, I will leave the link in the description to my Etsy page. Then it's just a case of just importing them into your Affinity Publisher documents and just copying them across into the file that you are working on. Like I said before, just go ahead and resize it. If you do want the same size that you had before, go ahead and just copy that number down here on the width or the height. And just like before, just go into your effects, give that the same drop shadow as the other one with 10 points in each one. That's going to then copy the same shadow that we have up here. Then it's just a case of coming back in here and editing this table to look either the same as that one or make it completely unique to match whatever color background you have on your image. So that is it for today's video. I hope you guys found this useful. If you did, then please go ahead and hit that like button, as it really helps me out with the YouTube algorithm and helps other people find my content. And of course, if you haven't already, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, as I'm on a personal mission for 2025 to hit 10,000 subscribers. I'm still currently a few thousand away from that goal, but you guys could really make that happen. But for now, I hope you have a great day and I will see you on my next video.